Okay. I'm waiting for YouTube. Otherwise, we're going to be up Poop Creek without a paddle. Hello, YouTube. Okay. I'm hoping that both mediums are going to work because I can't be in two places at once. I'm sorry if there's a bit of a lag. Otherwise, you can watch the video on Facebook. We're going to do an update today for Valentine's Day. Now, I have actually got the videos that I'm going to release on the 14th, and that's on YouTube. That's by Zodiac sign, and that's just love. It's very separate to, what's going on Valentine's Day. We tend to put a lot of pressure on Valentine's Day. But I am per Zodiac sign and a few cards or twin flames as well, because I know that there's a lot of people that are in the thick of it. What's going on? Where's contact? So I will bounce between both social media platforms. I'll just turn live chat on for YouTube. And then we can ask questions during the session. Be mindful that, especially with the spiritual path, we can get to a point where we're thinking, hey, it's Valentine's Day. Am I going to have anything? Is anything going to change? Yes, it is, but spiritually it needs to come down to letting go of the expectations, feeling the love in the heart chakra, and that does balance things out automatically, okay? So if we can come from a place of loving ourselves and knowing our self-worth, we attract like attracts like. So it doesn't have to look the way you think it needs to. And again, it is expectation. So we do put pressure on that date and that time frame as to what we feel would be nice. Some of us, it would be communication. Some of us, it may be actually meeting the love of our life. But again, what can you bring to your life that's going to be Valentine's Day particularly? Can it be an openness and a clearing of a situation in your life so that you can be open to love? Can it be to a point where you romanticize yourself? Regardless, let's get into it, and we're going to start tuning into what directly is going on. If I can pick the bloody cards up. Okay, I'm going to go by Zodiac sign. So the first one I'm doing is Taurus. And we'll tune into twin flames and love energy. And I'll do 3 rows. 1 for singles, 1 for people that are inquiring about love interest. That can be singles too. And another for twin flames. So I'm hoping this doesn't take too long. All of my devices were flat, so I'm trying to multitask. Happy Valentine's Day. Okay, Taurus. Now, you guys have an interesting year ahead of you. Even if you look at the astrology, it shows a time frame where you guys are changing. A lot of your paradigms are actually changing. A lot of the ways that you're going to have to do things are changing. So you're really going to be as to what love looks like and how you think it should look like. And especially with the transit of Uranus and you being, it being in your zodiac sign, for you guys on a foundation level and the way you perceive things is you're going to have to grow beyond that point. So it's going to be quite a testing time for you guys spiritually. You're good energy for marriage this year for you guys. Keep that in mind and try not to put a time on things because there is movement happening. Your likes and dislikes intuitively I'm picking are really changing. So the way you thought you would do something in a format of a relationship is really changing, as well as people that you're directly connected to as well. But it is going to be a struggle emotionally when it does come to you thinking something's got to be a particular way. So, if you can release that, it's going to help you. But at the same time, know that movement is happening and changes are happening. Some of you on the romantic front, how do I put it? It's going to come out of left field. And I do feel for those of you who are single, there might be multiple offers. But you're very selective as to who you're entertaining. And it may be because your energy is so heavily on somebody at the moment that that's coming through. I'm going to try and twist it about a bit so that it's not bumping the signal off of each social media. I'm hoping that it's really laggy. Okay, so for those of you who are single, I do feel as though the energy for Taurus is very positive. There is more than one suitor, but I do feel your energy is very heavily on one. Now, with that one individual, because you're putting your energy there, I do see other suitors coming in because you're actually focused on something else. Also, for those of you who are more focused on yourself, you will find that the same situation's happening. More suitors will come towards you because you're shifting your energy and you're shifting the way you're looking at things. Some of you are unwilling to invest in a particular person, okay? You love them, but because of a situation, you're looking at it and you're like, I'm really, really wary about looking at this in a particular way. So it can be an assessment time. It can be, I'm feeling it and I want to jump all in. But at the same time, I have this frequency check-in where it's not quite sitting right. Something's not quite right. So you're really gauging the way it is. You are trying to have patience with the situation, but at the same time, trying to have the patience with that, you can find, you're playing for keeps. So whatever you're doing, you're playing for keeps, but at the same time, you've reached a point where you actually need to transition in this connection, okay? So waiting for that is the only reason you're tolerating the frequency right now. On their side of the fence, they are getting ready. So it is, but it's super frustrating, okay? It's super frustrating. So whoever this energy is for those of you that are single, it feels frustrating. You're biding your time. And it can even be those of you who are just waiting. You're like, hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. You grasp it. But at the same time, you're thinking, am I ever going to be coupled? Yes, you are. But a lot of the energy in 2018 was about spiritual healing. It was about, moving forward. And, Valentine's Day is one day. Look back at 2018 and how much work you've completed spiritually. All of us are very tired and we're very eager to get the ball moving. We're very eager to jump in the thick of things. They also are feeling the same frequency, and it is sort of a mirroring effect going on. And look, this person can be, for those of you who are single, somebody that hasn't yet come in, but they're on you. Another, for those of you who are single and you're thinking about this person, they're feeling the same things, but they're directly tying up loose ends on their side, but they're trying to get the pieces of the puzzle together so it bodes well. Okay. Those of you who are in a connection at the moment, I still see you guys assessing. And I feel, there may be this push energetically at a point that you wanted to take it to the next level. But at the moment, it might be, again, you're in assessment mode. Morning, Carmen. So in that assessment mode, you're sort of sitting there going, I don't know if I want to jump the gun. There needs to be some spiritual changes here. It may be you're not feeling as romantic on the 14th, okay? So this is a I'd say 2 days either side, the frequency. But again, it may be you're moving into the 14th and feeling a lackluster, like you don't really want to jump in the deep end. And this can be for someone as well who's directly assessing going into a connection with a person, or doing something within Valentine's Day. It's like, should I, shouldn't I? Really weigh up your pros and cons with that. But I feel for those of you who are coupled, you may be feeling lackluster, like you're tired due to the frequency and you're not quite sure what you want to do from here. There can be conflict within connections at the moment. And remember, we're moving into the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. So even 2 weeks before that happens, there can be the effects of Mercury retrograde. There can be the energies coming through where there can be cross wires. So for you, you may be feeling it, especially if you're feeling hindered within a connection spiritually that isn't growing. It is a temporary energy. So just be mindful of this when you're moving into Valentine's Day, that you might be slightly lackluster in the energy. On their side, they can be dealing with some family dynamics. They also feel maybe they have very traditional values. They could be a very masculine energy. They could be a feminine energy, and they're playing their role. This can be hindering you, and you're thinking, you know, you feel like you don't spiritually fit into a box. And because of the placement of Uranus, it's like, yeah, I don't really fit into that paradigm. I'm not the cookie cutter wife or the, you know, the suit and tie husband, whoever that be, for those of you who are coupled. So you're sort of seeing things from a different paradigm. So there can be cross wires during this time. And again, it will be directly connected to Mercury retrograde. Because they're reading your signals at a different means, it can be a time when they can be quite envious, but it can be quite envious at a financial level. A lot of us are financially sorting things out, but with their energy, they sort of do feel, why can't you see my love from my perspective? So it's not so much that they're not showing you. I feel there's very old-fashioned values, and at the time they're looking at it from a different point, and you're going, no, what I equate to commitment is very different to what you equate to commitment. And there's cross wires going on there. So there can be some conflict within relationships around the 14th. So, you know, if there's a time frame in a sense of you guys needing to go somewhere for dinner, I'm actually seeing miscommunication, them thinking it's their role, partnered material, right, the actual partner, and the energies can swap. So it may be your expectations you're having that, hey, this is what I want to be doing and this isn't what's happening, and that can be really frustrating you at the moment. At the same time, I do feel it's a temporary energy, but you need to be very mindful of communication. If you want to get something cleared up, do it now, okay? So have the clarity before the 14th. Don't try and leave it to the last minute, a bit like when someone's late. It's like every minute that it's adding fuel to the fire, and I'm going to be more peeved. Don't yourself, because Mercury is going retrograde and a relationship being at stake is not worth cross wires. If you can actually clear that crap up, do that now. Especially moving in, because we do have Chiron moving from Pisces into Aries, which we're going to be more direct. You can literally look at it from the psychoanalytical point of view of Chiron with our wounds. We were dealing with them. Moving into Aries on the 18th, what you'll find is you'll still get that shadow period as well, and the lag over will be quite energetically trigger point material. And it's not to say, for some of you done the work, it may be a very smooth, assertive transition. For others of you, that Aries frequency coming through in the womb quadrant can be a very abrupt, strict energy. And with Mercury going retrograde, that's fuel for disaster. So just be very mindful of that. You won't be operating on normal operating systems. You can be operating on, I'm here to win, it's all or nothing. And you've got to be careful, especially if this is something you're heavily invested in. Those of you who are in a twin flame connection on your side, you know who this partnership is. You really know who this person is to you. It superly frustrates you. You do get to a point where you look at it and you think, why can this person not say this? Why do they not understand what the spiritual connection is? It is making you very frustrated that you put a lot of love, care, and effort into it. Hope to God no one's going to call me because it's going to bump me off my session. Had to be my daughter on live. So again, be mindful. If this is the feminine energy, being a Taurus, and you're a twin flame, be mindful that, yes, you are in your self-awareness. You know what the situation is. You know who this person is to you. You know the spiritual connection. But due to such, it's pissing you off. You're like, why can we not get a move on already? This is really frustrating me. You can be even more frustrated at the fact of you're resentful that every time this time of the year comes around, maybe it's the same frequency and similar things might be happening that did happen last year, and you want that to be different. So you really need to tune out of that so you can create that frequency change. And that's for each one of you, you know, be it you're single, be it you're coupled, be it you're a twin or a high vibration soulmate. It's the same situation. It's a turning point spiritually we're all going through, that is that there's so much changing that we're able to operate from every day, because we're evolving, but we're looking at it 2-3D. So at this point in time, it's a bit like saying we're going to have a lamb roast dinner, but there's an apocalypse event coming, and we're not understanding why. You know, things aren't falling into place and the cutlery's not out beautiful because we're having a Sunday roast. There's a rational time for things to happen just because the date's there. It doesn't mean things aren't moving. You want your life to be Valentine's Day. Don't block it down to one given day. Now, for counterparts energy on Taurus's side, they're making a sacrifice right now, and it's something they spiritually feel they need to do. You need to trust in the reasons why they're doing it. They are doing it because they know the connection. They're also doing it because they feel this is what's necessary right now because of something going on their side of the fence. They do feel that there is a lot of injustice and they know it's not fair on you, but they also feel this is the fairer option to deal with the situation than doing it in a different way. So it's almost like the self-sacrifices. Look, I vibrationally see you're dealing with it. In order for you to deal with that, even if I do have romantic feelings for you, even if I know you're my spiritual connection, I have to be fair. Yes, it's agitating me, and it may be, again, the energies can swap. This is what I have to do for the time being. And I know it hurts you, but it's going to hurt a hell of a lot more if I drag you through the coals. Okay? Now, advice cards for each one, and then I'll move on to Virgo because we've got 12 to do. Feel free to timestamp them. You can have a smoke. Okay. Singles, you guys are dealing with your shadow aspect. Are you there yet? Are you there yet? Go for gold. He's just had surgery and he's shuffling through the pergola because he can't walk. My twin. Okay. So singles, you guys are coming to a place where, should have seen it, Shelley. It was like a little tortoise. Okay, the shadow aspect of you, singles, you're looking at. You can also be looking back at your past and you're looking at it and going, okay, I don't want to go back there. What could I have done differently? Sometimes we psychoanalyze ourselves. We're also looking at our dreams, what we're hoping in the highest vibration to be, but don't let that make you lose your crown, male or female. It's like don't lose hope that things change. It's just your shadow energy. And that's because of what's going on with the transits of the planets. No, we don't have as many planets last year at the moment, you know, and it was a high frequency last year. It was really dense energy. We literally felt like every time we dealt with something, it was another thing. It was a very depressing energy. It was very heavy energy. What we're dealing with now after is that at the same time from planets transitioning over, we've had time to adjust to them. They were occurring last year, some of them, and they're balancing out now. Once this shadow energy coming through, for me personally, probably the last 3 weeks, there has been energies coming through that are old energies, but at the same time coming very old frequencies from 2010 all the way back to childhood. They can be connected to relationships. They can be connected to the way I perceive myself, the way I communicate. And it's been so many things daily that it's like you're checking in with yourself and you go, I'm not going to operate that way. So be gentle with yourself and know it's not you going back there. It's that you're in self-awareness now, which is real shitty because you're like, oh, man, I was doing that or I was communicating this way. That can be problematic because then you're being self-critical, but you're in control of the car. You're like, I'm not driving or governing my life that way any longer because it's a prison, and that is moving forward, okay? That's realizing that, and that's releasing it to a point you can move forward. Now, for those of you who are in a relationship, Some of you may be wanting to move out of the connection. But again, be mindful of astrology. If it's been an ongoing thing, that's something to say. It may also be that you guys need time away from family if you have children to reconnect spiritually with your partner. Okay? And that is to give that time. And it doesn't have to be bloody Valentine's Day to do that. Adhere to the warning signs and don't push all of the year's frequency into one given day, because all you're going to do is sabotage your relationship. It's not worth it. It's just a bloody day. Twin flames. Both of you are doing the same thing. You're walking in truth, okay? That's very humble, you know, but sometimes we're in pain body experience and we're going, look, I know who this person is. They're spiritually my one. They're my high vibration soulmate, low vibration soulmate, whatever. Wherever they are, you are, okay? Now, wherever they are, they're in a way that you do connection. The sacrifice on your side or their side is divinely guided, and it's necessary to prevent any more mess than is already there. Even if it's making both of your energies high strung, it's to reduce the conflict. There can be conflict around them at the moment. It can be they're trying to tie up loose contractual karmic ends. And it's messy. So to save you the agony of the chaos, you're being kept safe, but you're not seeing it. Both of you right here, right now, walk in your truth. You do not need a rose, a box of chocolates. You don't, because the spiritual connection is such, you know, and it's coming, okay? So just try and keep grounded. Look at it that they're off to war, cleaning the mess up on the way home. Okay? Now, I'll get into the next one. We are going to do, better make sure I've got the cards right. We're going to do, so the time is 22 minutes in, is Capricorn. Now, you guys energetically are going transformation. I would not be surprised if every energy in your life right now is changing. Anything down to your mindset, your opinions, your career. There's a lot of healing going on when it does come to your emotions. And that's due to the fact that you've had to really check things. You've really had to pull yourself back and start checking emotionally. Find out your chart, the areas, you know, where you'll have a particular sign. Especially, you know, we tend to say, why look at another zodiac sign? That will be in your chart somewhere, potentially. It can be your rising sign. It can be sun, moon, ascendant. It can be your Venus house. It can be the area of family and finance. Yes, I am with my twin. Yes, he's just had surgery yesterday. So we've been in union or reunion, whatever you want to call it, since January sometime. And still doing the work like everyone else's. And, you know, the downloads and everything you get is the same. Now, Capricorn. Oh, Capricorn singles, you guys are in it. I feel you guys are thinking too much. Now, a lot of times what happens you got with any zodiac sign is when you're having an upgrade spiritually, you get sick. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor, so if you're sick, you go to the doctor. But energetically, you will notice flu-like symptoms, and they're odd because they're there and they're gone. It can be anything from fatigue to nausea. It can be your headaches through your third eye. Again, check your chakras when these things come up, because it can be, you know, anything down to numerology, correlating with the chakra points, correlating with the downloads and the songs you're hearing. These things are signs from universe, and they can all work with you, connected to your soulmate, twin flame journey, your own personal path, your career. So when you see in insect or an animal, you can directly look for animal totems, and that will help you. Now, for singles of the Capricorn zodiac sign, there can be a lot of ascension symptoms. I feel whatever's being let go of, it's a birth and it's a reset, so to speak. But at the same time, it does feel as though you're having a reboot. So this reboot, you're going to be very tired. You've done a lot of work, okay? Whatever this work is, it can be internal work, it can be external work, and it can be 3D chaos. There's a lot going on. You've gone through a lot, but things are changing. So it's a pause before moving forward. You're burning the candle at both ends, and the energies can swap again. For those of you who are thinking about a Capricorn and you're inquiring, this could be your energy or it could be theirs. Again, hermit mode. You know, there was a comment made on hermit mode. Now, there can be a place you come to spiritually where you're very comfortable with being alone. And that's a very healthy place to be. Not to a point you avoid conflict or you're avoiding human beings, but a healthy place where it no longer defines you as a requirement to have a relationship. Okay? I do feel the hermit mode is the energy that's coming through for me isn't a negative feeling. I feel the decision's been made. They know who they want. They know what they want. And it can just be the feeling of what they want or the direct person. But whoever this person is for some of you, they may already be in a relationship or they simply do want commitment. And that's what the meditation's about. There could have been some conflict as to what you had wanted, moving to the next level. And at the same time, you're looking at it going, I don't know if I was quite ready for that. I do feel there was a differing in views as to what you wanted, okay? Now, this individual, if you directly have contact with them anymore, hi, Kalma, they are coming back. They're still in your energy sphere, so they haven't left. They are still thinking about you, and they still are very interested. They could be in a relationship, but I'm not feeling it cemented. I feel it's more they're meditating upon you. If this is a person that you are having feelings for and you let it go because they were in a connection, I feel the decision is being made in relation to you and this connection. And I don't feel it's on your side of the fence. I feel it's on their side of the fence, ending a situation or choosing to stay in it. But I do feel that a situation is coming to a close. On their side of the fence, they're overcoming the temptation, okay? So I'm going to pull a clarifier on that. Some of you, it will be towards you. Others of you, it will be directly towards the connection they're currently in. But it's going to be 50-50. Otherwise, feel free to book a reading and I can tune into your direct situation. They really don't. I feel as though they're not wanting to lose you. They feel they have, but it's more towards you. So they're making a decision in relation to that. Yeah, there's somebody they don't want to lose and it's connected to a sweetheart. So if you're the person external to the situation, they're directly thinking about you. Couples. Okay, you can be going through some legalities and contracts at the moment. You might even be wanting to take a situation to the next level. You're trying to be fair and understanding about what is happening within the connection. And on their side of the fence, it might be that something at a lower frequency occurred within your connection. And you're trying to balance that situation out. You're trying to make right in the connection. I don't feel in this situation roses would do. And I don't. That's something that's just come through. Whatever's gone down, it needed more repair than merely a dinner. That's what I'm hearing. So it can just be an emotional situation both of you went through, but at a lower frequency, I'm feeling as though there's been a lot of work put in, or there's going to need to have a lot of work put in to balance this situation out. You feel you're understanding, even though you're wanting the balance back in the connection, you're feeling as though you're making a sacrifice even though you don't have to. So there does feel that there's love for this person. But I do feel as though they're going to deal with any conflict they had. If there was a third-party situation, I do feel they've ended it. I do feel they've turned over a new leaf and they're wanting to physically move forward. If it was more they were giving their energy to other people, it doesn't have to be at a lower frequency. It can just be really being very overwhelmed by giving to other people. It feels as though they're transferring the energy back into the connection. Twin flames, there's a lot of balance going on. Now, be it you're the masculine or the feminine, whoever's Capricorn is going through a lot of balance, and there's a lot of clarity coming through. You're also wanting to have the balance in order to have the truth. It's almost like you've dissolved the ego to a point you're so tired. It's like, let's just make peace with this. Now, this can be physically together, or it can be in general within the connection. But regardless, this is part of the process. And, you know, that work, if it's being done, is very positive. On their side of the fence, there's a lot of movement, and it's hot and heavy. Like, I can literally see them coming in at a left field, and it's almost like when you've just gained your balance, let go, this is where they're physically coming in and there's movement, okay? But it has caused a lot of grief for them, and they feel they've lost you. And again, it's when we do come to a place where we can have that art of appreciation, and it doesn't have to be, you know, chaotic or anything to that degree. I do feel it's really changed their energy and the way they're looking at the situation, but it can be that they've dealt with an emotional loss very separate to you, and it hindered them in moving forward, but they do have a lot of love and passion for you, and they are going to be thinking of you during this time. For singles, I do feel you got be still in reverse as a clarifier. Now, for you guys, I do feel movement's going to happen extremely quickly. So if you are waiting for someone to come in, I am feeling as though this is going to come at left field super quick. So if you've been waiting for this person and they've been on the fence, I do feel that's moving very quickly. Couples, some of you, you feel you've invested so much, you have no choice but to move forward. So even if there's conflict around Valentine's Day, you're trying to make right, and it might be due to commitments, but at the same time, you're trying to keep the peace. You feel energetically you're very connected to this situation. You're trying to just move forward from this point. I'm not sure why that's coming through, though. Some of you didn't say, within the coupled relationship, you really didn't see something coming. So if this hasn't happened, it can be coming at left field. It can be that something happens during the time you're actually, you know, going out for dinner or attending a function. And it's come at left field, but you just have to make it the best it can be. It could be that the babysitter calls in sick and then you can't quite go out, but you're making the best of the situation. I feel that's coming through very heavily for you guys, but it's going to turn out better than you think. Okay, for Capricorn twin flames, I feel you guys, both of you, need to surrender and frequency. Okay? It's very close, especially on the side where there's a lot of passion. As soon as the balance has been created, be it on your side or their side, it's going to start moving, and I feel that very strongly. Who's next? Okay, where are we at? We're at 34 minutes. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, almost 34. And that is for Aries. Gotta hope we get it done before the battery goes. Otherwise, I'll have to come back. I'll have to pause it and come back. Okay, Aries, you guys are worried about something, but I feel it's separate to the connection. I feel it's those of you who are single, you're feeling more worried about an external situation. You've got a lot going on. It's really getting you up in your head. You're thinking Valentine's Day is the last thing on your mind. Yes, you guys are super romantic, but I do feel there'll be an external issue coming up. That's going to be a bit problematic, and it's going to take your energy away from the actual day. Some of you aren't talking to somebody, and I feel this is a romantic interest. It may be, again, you're not seeing eye to eye. And again, it doesn't surprise me with Mercury getting ready to go retrograde. But I do feel there is an ex for some of you. Okay. It's keeping you up at night, okay? You're really worried about the connection. You're really worried about a person in general. I'm not feeling it's someone you don't know. This will more be relevant for those of you who are directly thinking about this person, a person in particular. Now, for those of you who this message is relevant, you're frustrated by external influences, but the ironic thing is you're actually not. You're more frustrated because you don't know how to communicate with this person. There's been water under the bridge and it's triggering you, but at the same time, you're trying to tackle it in a different way. It's like you're diverting your energy and your anger onto something else, but it's really not what's going on. It's going to surface and you're going to understand what it is. You're really working very hard. And again, I'm feeling diverting energy into work to avoid the reality of what the conflict is. And it's that you're wanting something, you were frustrated about something, you haven't communicated your truth effectively, and it's going to come full circle to be addressed. This celebration is going to happen with or without you. So this person, if you're really wanting to spend time with them and you know they're available, this celebration is going to happen with or without you. So if you're being stubborn, and the energies can shift, they can swap. For some of you who are thinking about a person in particular and you're not going to take a leap of faith, this person has happiness coming. So it's jump while the iron's hot. A cycle is about to end, okay? They don't want any more bad luck in their life, and they feel when the conflict's there, they don't feel they have the luck of the draw. So you've got to be really careful with these cross wires. What are you putting into it? And again, it can swap, it can go both ways, because I'm hearing it feels like a temper tantrum. And again, the energies can swap, so don't shoot the messenger. Temper tantrum, you've got crap going on, but you actually don't like doing what you're doing. You're mad at that too, but you're also mad at the other person, but you're actually not mad at the person, you're mad at yourself. So take the bull by the horns. Go and make that happen, because this person's got happiness coming in. They're going to have it with or without you. So, yes, I'm on Aries. So, be careful. So, that's for some of you. The others of you, I feel, in Aries that are single, you're being cautious. Again, finance. You're focusing on your finance. You don't feel stable, so this is triggering you, and you wish you could tell everyone, but you just can't because there's other things going on. It doesn't have to be that you're broke. It can be that you've got things that you have to deal with that are overdue, that you've got a lot going on, which all of us do. You've got the passion. You want to be that sensitive, loving, playful person. But I do feel you're closer than you think to getting these things sorted, but you need to ASAP because it's affecting your frequency. Couples of Aries. Again, I'm feeling you're being really understanding towards their schedule, their energy, and what they're doing. Some of you that are coupled, I do feel there's been a death on partner's side or vice versa. Their energy is very quiet. It's really meditating a lot. It's very quiet. How do I put it? They're not mad at you. There's things they've undergone and gone through, and it's emotionally affected them. Hello, Pennsylvania. Welcome. And it's just you're holding your ground. You're good. Okay, so you're moving forward. You're fine. There is movement. Okay, so it's like you're taking the reins and you're moving the situation forward. And if you have to be flexible around Valentine's Day, I feel you're going to under the circumstances. That's all I'm hearing. There's circumstances. They're going to recoup, so everything is going to be fine. Don't feel it's a mass kind of tower moment in your life. I feel you've got the power to bring the balance back into this situation. Again, it's romantic, but it's in a different way. It's in an emotional, connective way over let's have a fancy dinner. It's not to say a fancy dinner is not happening. It's an emotional, interconnected feeling. Twin flames. of Aries. You're being very rational. Sometimes that can be problematic. You're being rational and you're like, look, black and white, 3D. It is, it isn't. Okay? You can even be feeling on your side that there could be some cheating involved. Now, that can be on twin side or your side, whoever is the Aries. So it can be counterpart's energy or yours. You also may be feeling, I've been waiting in limbo for a long time. Do I just jump? Or you could be feeling that this is what they're doing. Again, you're trying to be rational, but this frequency is kicking in, okay? That can be your fear-based frequencies, and you've got to be super careful about what you're tuning into. Because energetically on their side of the table, they're stuck. But it's self-imposed. They can remove themselves. They're choosing to do it. And they take from the singles and the couples and join them into the twin flame situation because it's also going to be relevant. There can be legalities, contracts. And for Aries, I'm honestly telling you, too much work, no play. Something in the employment domain needs to change. It's affecting your health. It's not healthy. There is a frustrating frequency coming through here. Sometimes the reality is less is more. You know, can you be happier with less? Do you have to have millions of dollars? Do you have to work so bloody hard? All work, no play can make for a very resentful human being. It may be needing to take a day, take a break, you know, do something special for yourself, and that's really coming through loud and clear. But, you know, there's crosswise in the communication and feelings. One or the other of the twin flame is taking it very personally. Your work might be lower than theirs, or they may have more on than you, however it goes, but some of you are tired of putting the work in, okay? And they're trying to be friendly. They're trying to do the right thing. I do feel a friend is helping them through some aspects of conflict, and I don't feel there is a romantic interest here for them. There are suitors that want them. Something went down between them and a previous partner. It could be a karmic. Okay, there was a sweetheart. The friend is helping them, you know, after some points of grief. But I do feel there are three individuals of conflict they're directly dealing with at an emotional level that is, it's causing a lot of headaches. I'm actually hearing there's too many, that's weird, like party of five, like there's 5 individuals or 5 direct situations they're dealing with. They are going through a transformation, okay? So both masculine and feminine are going through a spiritual transformation. On the singles energy, if you don't jump, they're going to go. The reality is that there has to be unconditional love. And at the moment, you're not feeling respected or understood. So if there is a lower frequency situation going on and you're looking at saying, I'm being awfully patient, you may be questioning whether there's unconditional love. Now, this can go on your side of the fence or theirs. It doesn't mean to say that it's right or wrong. It's your feelings. You've got to address them. Is there something going on that, you know, you feel is out of balance? And do you need to have unconditional love towards yourself and actually speak your truth? Or is it that you're not having compassion to the situation, but there's unconditional love in reverse? So there's something off balance. For those of you who are coupled, yes, there's going to be another shiny day. As I said, you're really going to emotionally, spiritually support each other. But at the same time, it might not be, let's have a candlelit dinner. It's going to be hunky-dory. Twin flames, like I said, you're going through that transformation. So it is happening. There is movement. There is change. Okay. We have, how much of the battery do we have? I may take a break and I will come back in an hour and I will do Aries, Leo and Sag. And tonight I will do Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Aquarius, Libra and Gemini. I will be back shortly. I'll end this side if I can. and I'll see you soon.